We really appreciate that, you guys. It means a lot to us. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. I know you guys got out here early. I want to give a special shout out and acknowledge 3 firefighters here from the Dallas Fire Department. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. They are here in case things get too hot because partner in crime, Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, get a little, testy sometimes. So they're here just in case.
Heated, yeah.
A little heated. So, guys, give it up for Skip Bayless.
Thank you.
And Mr. Stephen A. Smith. And obviously me, your host, Carrie Champion. Thank you. We pay them to say that. So, you want to say something?
Carrie,
yes, sir.
With First Take in the great city of Dallas, Texas, I would be remiss if I did not pose a quiet little question to this crowd.
What?
How about them Dallas Cowboys? Yeah. How about it? Boy, we got some boom.
We got a lot of boom. It's like AT&T. It's like AT&T. You do not have the home field advantage. Wait a second. Am I correct in knowing that this is not home field advantage? We don't have all Dallas Cowboy fans here?
I think we have some Stephen A. Smith Memorial haters in this crowd.
Hi. How are you? Wait, okay. If you're a Cowboy fan, make some noise. Let me hear you. Okay. And if you are not a Cowboy fan, let me hear you.
You have polluted the minds of Dallas, Texas here. You know that.
I just think it's people elevating their level of wisdom. As Let's get this party started.
Coming up on the show today, we have our NFL analyst, our draft expert, Todd McShay, as well as Darren Woodson, a former Cowboy. You guys know Darren Woodson.
Yes, sir.
He will be here today. And we have Baylor head coach Art Briles. He will be joining us to talk about the college football playoff, which he feels like his team strongly should have been in. So he'll make a case for that. We'll talk about that a little later on. But let's get right to it. Our first topic is Aaron Rodgers. He did not practice again yesterday, but today he's supposed to be back on the field. It's up to team doctors. We're not for sure, but he says no matter what, even if he doesn't practice this week, he will still be ready to go on Sunday when they face the Cowboys. Take a listen.
Just kind of depends on how it feels. I met with the doc. I've seen him every day. Nothing really changed on the schedule. This was kind of the plan from the start. It's progressing, but we'll see how it feels tomorrow. I'm going Sunday. It's just a matter of how.
Again, Mike McCarthy adds this day-to-day for Aaron Rodgers, again, who has not practiced. So, Stephen A., I'll ask you this question. I know that that's the bad man and you root for him, but are you concerned at all that he hasn't been on the practice field?
Not even a little bit. I'm not concerned in the slightest. He is Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man. Okay? I am not concerned at all. If it were Tony Romo, who's not experienced in playoff competition, I would be concerned. If it were Jay Cutler, I'd be very concerned. If it were some of these novices that have been disguised as NFL quarterbacks throughout this season, I'd be concerned. If it were Johnny Manziel in an NFL game, I'd be concerned. I am not concerned about Aaron Rodgers, former Super Bowl champion, former league MVP, former Super Bowl MVP, who is the best quarterback in football as far as I'm concerned, and a top 3 candidate for league MVP honors. The fact that he is not practicing for this particular week, the only thing that I am concerned about is his health. I'm not concerned about rust. I'm not concerned about camaraderie, chemistry, etc. Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb have been in this league for quite some time. They are exceptional with yards after the catch to begin with. That's number 1. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers is throwing them the ball. Number 3, the chemistry and the camaraderie that has existed between them has been in existence for years. These are not novices. These are not unfamiliar pieces patched together playing with one another this Sunday afternoon. These boys could play together in their sleep. I am not concerned about the lack of practice. I'm concerned about Aaron Rodgers' health because I want him to get healthy and to be healthy for Sunday's game. But in terms of him missing practice, as long as he shows up Sunday healthy, then I am not concerned. Now, if he doesn't show up healthy, that's a different ball game. But I suspect Aaron Rodgers will be ready. And after all, it was he who said to us after week 3, I believe, R-E-L-A-X.
He did say
relax.
that. He did say that.
And that's exactly what I am going to do. So, relax.
So Packer fans should relax, even though their star quarterback, the bad man, has missed a week and a half of practice since he last played in a football game. And this is the same quarterback. If memory serves, help me out, Kerry. My memory gets foggy here, but this bad man has lost 3 of his last 4 playoff games, and 2 of them were at Lambeau Field. So you have absolutely no concern about that.
I honestly believe you should be more concerned about a guy in Tony Romo who's only participated in 3 playoff games in 9 years.
Okay. That's another point.
Well, he just won one, and he might be getting ready to win another one, because I'm going to remind you again, sometimes at this point in a football season, a team gets on a meant-to-be roll. And almost mystically, a flag gets picked up. A holding call gets uncalled. It should have been called on 4th and 6. It wasn't called. And all of a sudden, you look around and you say, wait a minute. The bad man superstar quarterback for the opposing team still hasn't practiced. Well, now could he be just a touch rusty in the first half of Sunday's game? He could be a touch rusty. I don't care what you say. Could he tweak his calf in this game? I don't know. Again, I'm not wishing injury upon any man.
You sure?
I'm not. I'm not.
Okay.
But it is tweakable. Even though, to be completely objective and realistic, as I have been as a lifelong Cowboy fan, I must point out that Aaron Rodgers did return in the second half of the season finale against Detroit at Lambeau Field. And in that game, he went 11 of 13 for 129 yards after re-injuring or aggravating his calf muscle.
Minutes after.
Okay. Yeah, just, well, again.
Not 2 weeks after, minutes after.
Okay, minutes after. So I'm a little surprised he still hasn't practiced, which is a little bit of a red flag, I think, for Green Bay Packers fans. A green flag, if you will, because something is going on there why he hasn't practiced even after he played in that game.
What is going on there is the urgency of playoff competition and Green Bay understanding that Aaron Rodgers needs to get as healthy as he possibly can. They're not concerned about rust. They're not concerned about what he's going to do to the Dallas Cowboys secondary if he's healthy.
Okay.
The question is, what is he going to do? Is he going to be healthy or not? That's the only question mark. So you want to do whatever you can to ensure that he's at 100%. And by the way, Skip Bayless, you know, it's interesting listening to your tone, your tenor, your approach to this entire particular subject, because you see, you talk about maybe it's tweakable and it's this and it's that. Well, you know something? Why are you concerned? Because after all, I mean, if your Dallas Cowboys are everything that you say they're going to be, whether Aaron Rodgers is healthy or not, the Dallas Cowboys are supposed to be in position to win this game.
No, they're not. They're 6.5-point underdogs.
No, I'm talking about with you. I'm not talking about with the odds makers.
Let's be realistic about this.
With people from the peanut gallery sitting there talking what they talk and all of this stuff, us being in Dallas, Texas. I'm not talking about the odds makers. I'm talking to you, one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying to you that if you're somebody that firmly believes that the Dallas Cowboys are legitimate, why are you?
Oh, they're very legitimate, but the Green Bay Packers are 8-0 at Lambeau Field. They are near invincible.
And the Dallas Cowboys are unblemished and 8-0 on the road.
You're right. Thank you very much.
That's right.
So let me continue my spiel about how things sometimes get meant to be. After all the doomsaying I heard earlier this week about it's going to be freezing cold and Tony Romo's never been very good in cold weather.
It's cold here.
Well, it might be colder here than it is in Green Bay, because I keep looking at the long-range forecast and I'm saying, wait a second, this is a noon kickoff. This isn't a night game. This is a noon kickoff Central Time.
Which helps Dallas.
Field. That's my point. And I'm looking at the long range. 0 chance of snow, and a high of 21.
Okay.
Well, for a lot of people who play football, that's football weather. 21 degrees, it's not minus 21, it's 21 above. Well, not all that bad.
Not Dallas. Dallas hasn't had to play in those conditions all year.
I'm pretty comfortable in that.
I only mean to say that Dallas hasn't had to play under those conditions all year long. The worst conditions they had to play under was against Chicago, and that game against Chicago, that Thursday night debacle for the Chicago Bears.
That was actually a balmy night.
Because Jay Cutler actually had, tried to show up.
He did.
The point is that it was above freezing temperature. So the Dallas Cowboys haven't had to experience these kind of conditions all season long. They have had to do it in their careers. But this particular season, it's sort of been like a honeymoon for the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. So now, one other. You can laugh at me. You can ridicule me for this one. You can say I'm reaching, but I lived in this city for 17 years, and I couldn't even imagine anybody talking about earthquakes here.
Oh.
And yet this week,
oh gosh,
out of nowhere, could it be a sign from above?
No.
We've had earthquakes in Dallas, Texas. Earthquakes again.
Wait. Are you trying to say God is preparing the Dallas Cowboys to win?
Think about this. The earthquakes came from Tuesday night into Wednesday over a 24-hour period, and the epicenter of the earthquakes was in a suburb a lot of people don't know, called Irving, just right here by Dallas. And it's the former home of Texas Stadium, in which the Cowboys dominated the NFL and became America's team for years and years. These fans know Texas Stadium. It is long since passed now. It's Jerry World, obviously. But my point is, why would the epicenter of the earthquakes, a sign from above, be in Irving, right at the confluence of highways 183 and 114, where the stadium used to stand? And finally, there were 9 earthquakes over a 24-hour period. They're small earthquakes. I didn't feel anything personally.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I did.
Yeah. 9 earthquakes, and you know, Tony Romo wears number 9. Tony Romo wears number 9.
Wow. I cannot.
Who knew?
Come on.
Is it a sign? Is it a sign? Once again, do the Dallas Cowboys have God on their side? Remember at the old Texas Stadium, there was a hole in the roof so God could watch his team?
Do I get to answer this? Do I get to answer this?
Yes, you do.
It's interesting because, you see, when I think about earthquakes, I think about things crumbling. I think about things being shattered. And so the fact that, the former place where Texas Stadium reside is the epicenter of the earthquake. And that it was 9 and it happened to be 9, number 9 for the. I mean, I didn't think of any of this stuff. Only you. Only you.
I told you I might be reaching.
Like I told you, if nothing else, you are special, Skip Bayless. You are special. The point is that, when you think about it, coinciding with Tony Romo's jersey number and all of that other stuff, maybe it's indicative of what's coming. A crash and burn, a rattling, a cracking at the seams of Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys. Because they're certainly not complaining about this stuff in Green Bay.
All right, so listen. Now, you got to wrap it. So
let me end on a more serious and a very poignant note. Jethro Pugh passed away yesterday. Yes. For those who don't know, longtime Cowboy fans know Jethro Pugh mostly because he was the man who got blocked on what's now called the most famous block in NFL history. It allowed Bart Starr to sneak over at the very end of what's now known as the Ice Bowl game. This was the last time Dallas played a playoff game at Lambeau Field, December 31st of 1967. And many fans only knew Jethro because he got victimized by a double-team block by Jerry Kramer and Ken Bowman, the center. But Jerry Kramer became famous off that block. A book was written by the great Dick Schaap that was based on that block called Instant Replay. And what I do, if there's any silver lining to the passing of the great Jethro Pugh, who I got to know in his final season when I did cover the team in his final year, he was a class act, he was a stalwart, he was a leader of teams that played in 5 Super Bowls. And I hope this week that a new light will be shined on his career because he became a great player for this football team after that Ice Bowl, even though most people only remember him as the guy who got blocked.
Bob
in the
Lilly and others have talked very glowingly about him. God rest his soul.
So God rest his soul. Jethro Pugh,
yes.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. That was well said, Skip Bayless. Thank you for adding that. However, the refs missed